My big thing as a trainer is connecting with my students. You know, what I've learned and throughout my military career of you know, in Ranger Regiment, having privates and having to mold them and build them from kids off the street, you know, at 18 years old, which is where I was when I got there, you know, and how I was molded. But it's like, look, we gotta connect with each one of them individually, and each individually, they're all different. So you have to figure out, number one, what motivates them, and then what are their individual goals, what do they want to do, and then help them to be successful, you know. And now, back then I had way more time to do that. Now it's like I get a couple of days, you know, 2-3 days or something at the most. Some classes are a one-day class.
Yeah.
And I really just try to always connect with my students and figure out what their individual goals are and work with them. You know, I believe I've seen a lot in my time, seen a lot of different gear and technology and tactics and techniques and everything. So, you know, I feel like just taking each individual person and molding them individually, but connecting with them, you know. And now, you know, being on the instructor side and out there as a business, do whatever. I mean, you got to connect with everybody that comes to the class too. You know, they're coming there not only to learn something, but, you know, to hear what you have to say and to see, hey, is this a guy I want to train with further down the road? Or, that was good, I got a couple things out of it, but move on to the next guy. Yeah. You know, I want those guys to come back and take other classes from me and, you know, stay in touch. And I've made some really good friends teaching, so.
Is this your first year at Shooter Symposium?
It is, yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been, last year was the first year I heard about it. And it's weird, I'm not a gun guy, I'm not a gear guy, I don't follow a bunch of other trainers. Like all the other trainers here, minus one or two, never met before. Yeah. Heard of them, you know, stumble across them on social media or something, but I don't get on all the social media and follow what everybody else is doing. I'm like, hey man, this is my niche, this is what I'm doing that. If I'm not doing that, I'm probably fishing. Like, I fish professionally for a living. So I'm fishing or, you know, working on my land. I mean, I've got a little chunk of land. I like to hunt, I like to shoot my bow. I mean, it's not my world. This isn't like, all I do is I train and I shoot my guns and I do night vision. You know, I mean, I do a lot of that, but I have a bunch of other things I'm into, so.
Before we get into the night vision conversation, let's talk about fishing for a second.
Oh yeah.
So did you like just like leave and go like, cause you were doing the competitive.
Yeah, so I've fished at the very top level for bass. I've fished professional saltwater. Yeah, so I grew up fishing, loved it. And as I was, in the military, I was still fishing, like started fishing tournaments when I got stationed down in Savannah, Georgia at 175. That's where it really bit me, you know, and I started doing tournaments because they weren't that big, you know, I mean, we're talking mid 90s. So anyway, started fishing competitively, really loved it. And then as I continued to grow and continued to compete, I saw that, look, this could be my retirement plan. Like, guys are making a living doing this. So I started lining that up and very fortunate that I met a lot of great people in the fishing industry that helped me out. You know, good old boy network, definitely back then. Like, hey, here's my buddy, you know, he's a solid dude, he's a hard worker, you know, hook him up. So I'd pick up some sponsors here and there through some connections, and then it was all on me. I mean, I worked, I showed them, you know, I could do what they needed and promote their product. And so I did. I was fishing professionally while I was still active duty.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a clean break from service and then like complete change of industry and then back.
No, I was still doing it throughout my entire career. My last few years where I really ramped up and started fishing professional level tournaments while I was still in. And that was it. I mean, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna retire and I'm going fishing. And I did for about 3 years. I still did a little bit of stuff in the tactical industry. I worked for a company called Core Survival, make some helmet strobe lights. And that's kind of what got me back into the training piece. So fished a ton, loved it. I mean, pretty much took 3 years and fished multiple professional trails, traveled the country. I still do, just not as much. But I was at NTOA, what, those that may not know, National Tactical Officers Association, big conference, you know, a lot of LE guys come there, a lot of SWAT guys, and they're looking at gear. And I was talking to a few different guys, and they're looking for IR strobes. You know, they're starting to get into night vision with their teams. Every one of them was like, yeah, we're looking for some training though. I mean, we got one guy that was in the Marine Corps for 4 years, and he's our guy, you know, and then you talk to those guys, and they're like, Yeah, I don't know. They just made me the guy because I used them once or twice. You know, I'm the subject matter expert now. So yeah, we need some training. So I saw that opportunity, and I am a huge supporter of law enforcement. My dad, 35 years, retired. I've got my brother-in-law retired from law enforcement. Lots of friends in law enforcement. Absolutely love what you guys do. And I thought, you know what? All the knowledge that I have from all the years of combat training, and then my last few years in the unit, I worked as a subject matter expert for night vision lasers, weapon sights, and scopes. We have our own research and development section, and we work with industry and develop new things, whatever. So I had a lot of inside knowledge also, and knew a lot of the vendors that work with night vision and gear. So that's where I saw an opportunity, was like, look, I can't let all this information just go to waste. These guys are out there now protecting me and protecting my family. So, I want to make sure that they're well trained, they're well equipped. And that's why I started doing a lot of the night vision stuff.
What are some of the common fallacies you see, whether it would be like individual consumers or departments just like trying to get into the game? Like,
the biggest thing is not knowing what they're buying. On the department side, a lot of guys, you'll have that one or two guys on the team that are the gear guys, right? And night vision is still so new, and there's not a ton out there, that a lot of times they just go to like a local vendor or local rep or something. And a lot of times it might be a pro shop type deal or a gun store, and they carry X, Y, and Z. There's still tons of other brands out there, but they're going to push what they carry, and they're going to bundle something together. Hey, no, this is what you need. And a lot of it comes down to cost. Unfortunately, law enforcement agencies don't have the budgets that they should by any means, for training, for ammo, for gear, for any of it. But it comes down to, sometimes it's like, well, this is all we can afford. And it's not really the best solution. So you really got to do your research. You got to figure out what's out there. Budget is a huge part of it. You can only afford what you can afford, but there are a lot of grants out there. I know a lot of teams that have started up their own 501c3. So they started up their own nonprofit organization. They raise money, and then they use that to buy gear for themselves. But yeah, definitely doing the research, making sure that they're buying the right gear. And I really love, and I know it's a prerequisite to come to a night vision class, is to have night vision. But I really love it when guys can beg, borrow. And I've had guys call me, because I have some extra gear, and say, hey, I really want to come. Our department's getting ready to get some nods, but we don't have anything. Do you have any loaners? I got you. I've got good connections with L3 for lasers, for nods. They'll send me stuff, and/or I have some gear. Those are the perfect guys to come to the class, because they're going to learn everything about night vision, why it works, the history of it, the whole nine, all the gear that's out there. I'm going to give them all my experiences on the good and the bad, where they could be budget-wise. And now they go home with a ton of information to then really go out and search and find the right gear. And I still try to help them with that. Now I've been set up. I don't sell stuff on my website like night vision and lasers, but I do sell it. So I'm tied in with, L3, with Wilcox, with B.E. Myers, helmet companies, with Gentex, with Team Wendy. I can get whatever, and I've built some packages for some agencies, helping them out. And, a lot of times I can beat most everybody's price out there, just because I don't care about the money side of it. I want to make sure they have the right gear. Right. That's my objective.
So in it for the right reasons.
Yep.
Not just the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So you're teaching a couple different tracks here. Like, you got the thing tonight, which is something I'd love to jump in on it. And that's basically just exactly that. Just the whole, like, hey, if you don't know what you don't know, at least we can get you a starting point. So what's that class going to look like tonight?
So it'll be, give or take, about 2 hours. I'm more than happy to hang out and talk to anybody that wants to talk. But it's a little bit of slide presentation just to throw the information out there. I'm going to have a bunch of gear out on a table for guys to look at. But it is that introduction to night vision. What is night vision? Why, I'm interested. I want to get in it, but I don't know what I don't know, right? I don't know what to buy. I don't know what's good, what's bad. So I'm going to go over a lot of the gear, a lot of what's out there, what you're looking for. Obviously budget, everybody's, concern is pricing, because you go from, PBS 14 gets you in the game. There's advantages, disadvantages of that piece of gear, and you can pick them up anywhere from, $2,000 to $4,000 for one, depending on the tube. And then there's the jump to get into dual tubes. which is what I prefer. Dual tubes, I believe, are way better than one. I mean, we wouldn't walk around all day. We got 2 eyes. We wouldn't walk around all day with one closed, right? No, we're going to use both of our eyes and both our vision. We want to do the same at night. But we're going to go over a lot of that stuff and just answer questions, show gear. Just hopefully when everybody leaves there, they'll have a better understanding of, okay, this is what I'm looking for now. Save a little more to get to that level, or, hey, I can get in at this level and it's good gear, and then how do I build up and get to that next level?
Sure. And then after that, you're actually doing the straight up NVG class.
Yep. So after that, Friday night and Saturday night, I'll be teaching. It's a 1-day class, and it's just to help kind of with this atmosphere with, you got so many people here, to get more people through the course. But it'll be the same class Friday, and then I'll have a new group of people Saturday. I normally teach a minimum is a 2-day NVG class, and that's 2 days. That's over 20 hours. Yeah. I mean, it ain't 8 hour. Okay, we're 8 hours, we're done. No, I mean, it could easily be a 3-day class. I just don't have time to continually be doing, I have a 3-day class that adds more to it, but it is a jam-packed 2 days. So that's broken out, and I'm taking kind of the meat of that and crunching it into a 1-day course for this. And it's kind of to give guys a taste, and then hopefully, reach out to me or look at my website and go, all right, yeah, hey, there's a 2-day class or there's a 3-day class. Yep, I'm signing up for that now. I've got what I need. Got my gear now. I have the understanding. Now I want more.
Yeah.
And let them come find me. And
demystify the process a little bit and get people excited. Yeah. That's cool stuff, man. Well, I appreciate everything you're doing, especially for law enforcement clinics. We definitely need the assistance right about now.
Yeah, so I'm happy to share the information.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. We're looking forward to the classes, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and we'll see you after.